On my 18th birthday, I walked into Mercer Manor in Harbor City's Crown District. 3 days earlier, the Mercers had shown up at our farm and told me I was their long-lost biological son. Before I left, my adoptive father had taught me one rule.
If somebody wants you to give in, stand up straighter and make them look at you.
So I watched everything in silence. The Mercer gates were taller than our barn. A butler waited at the entrance. Staff stood in 2 neat lines. Inside the living room sat a crowd of people I couldn't name. The moment I stepped through the door, a boy in a pale shirt came down the staircase. Ethan Mercer, the boy who had lived my life in this house for 18 years. His back was straight, his smile polite. In his hands was a pair of men's loafers.
Cole, you finally made it. We didn't have anything ready for you yet, so you can wear these for now.
I looked down. The leather was creased. One heel had been worn down crooked, and they looked like they'd fit maybe half my foot. I folded my arms and didn't take them. The room went even quieter.
I'm sorry. I just thought you'd be tired after the drive and changing shoes might make you more comfortable. If you don't want those, I can take mine off and give them to you.
A cold laugh came from the front drive. A girl leans against a car.
Uncle Richard, are you sure you expect me to get engaged to him?
I matched her to the name in my head at once. Serena Blackwell, the girl who was supposed to be my fiancée.
My family needs a man who can stand beside me, not someone who looks like he still smells of hay.
My sister, Vivian Mercer, stood at the edge of the living room with her arms folded. She made no move to defend me.
It's not kind, but she's right. Cole, if you're coming back to the Mercer family, the first thing you need to learn is how to behave. Don't embarrass us.
Vivian, Serena, don't start. Cole just got here. Of course, he needs time to adjust. I can help him get used to things around here.
I dropped my canvas duffel on the floor and picked up the old loafers.
Sure is lively in here. I just walked through the door. Is this the welcome party you planned for me?
Ethan brought you shoes out of kindness. What kind of attitude is that?
Kindness?
I tossed the shoes away, then kicked them farther across the floor.
A mansion this big, 3 floors, 2 wings, a ballroom, a full staff, and nobody could find me a new pair of shoes? I wore those before. I thought our sizes were close. I'm sorry, I was only trying to help. Close? You wear new shoes and hand me your old ones? Is that what passes for kindness in Harbor City?
Even if Ethan made a mistake, he didn't mean to. And you couldn't even say thank you?
And you are?
I'm your fiancé.
Oh, you say I have no manners, but you just insulted me from head to toe in front of a room full of people. What kind of manners are those? Or is that the best the Blackwell family can teach?
The living room went dead silent. Vivian's expression soured.
Cole, watch yourself.
I looked at her.
You're my biological sister, right?
She paused, then nodded.
I spent more than 10 hours in a car to get here. You didn't ask once if I was tired. All you've talked about is rules and embarrassing the family. You lost me for 18 years. Who was supposed to teach me Mercer rules? Cole, no one's trying to make things hard for you. We all just need time to adjust. You just got back. I'll help you.
Then he lowered his head, looking hurt. The people around us looked at me differently at once. Just then, a woman hurried out from inside and grabbed my hand.
Cole, you must be exhausted after that drive. Don't hold this against them.
And pulled open her car door.
I'll have my father reconsider this engagement. Goodbye.
The car door slammed shut. Vivian's face went cold. She looked at me like I'd caused a disaster. I ignored her. Pulling out my phone, I opened my pinned chat with Hank Hayes and typed, "Dad, I made it. This family is something." Less than 3 seconds later, his reply came through in all caps and exclamation marks. "Who gave you a hard time? Woo it was. I'm driving over there right now to set them straight." I couldn't help smiling. "Don't bother. I can handle it." I slipped my phone back into my pocket, picked up my canvas duffel, and swept my gaze over the Mercers.
Fine. Where's my room? Show me.
The butler led me to a room in the 2nd floor. The second he pushed open the door, the roar of machinery and a blast of hot air hit me. The room itself wasn't small, but its window faced the kitchen exhaust vents. I walked over to take a closer look. The curtains were old, with loose threads hanging from the edges. The sheets had been folded neatly, but the pillowcases and comforter didn't match. The closet was empty, not even a hanger inside. The butler had already left, so I pulled out my phone and took pictures of every corner of the room. Then I shut the door, sat on the bed, and checked my phone. Hank had just sent me a message.
"Son, I don't know a damn thing about all that rich people nonsense, but remember this. Anyone tells you to kneel, you stand up. Make them see how tall you are when you do."
The next morning, Eleanor knocked on my door.
The family's having a small get-together today. Your relatives would like to meet you.
She handed me 2 shopping bags. One held a gray linen shirt, the other had a loose casual outfit. The tags had been cut off both, and neither was even close to my size. From down the hall, Ethan's excited voice drifted out of his room.
These are from the new collection. They fit perfectly.
I tossed the 2 outfits back into the closet and pulled on a white t-shirt and jeans. By the time I went downstairs, the living room was packed. Ethan chatting with one of the older relatives. The moment I walked in, the room fell quiet. Every eye dropped to my jeans and old boots.
So this is the son who grew up away from the family. He's good looking enough, I suppose. But those clothes.
Auntie, please don't say that. It's our fault. We haven't had time to get Cole any clothes yet. I offered to help pick some out, but he said he didn't need them.
I did say no, because the 2 outfits you picked out could fit 2 of me.
Ethan's expression stalled for a second before smoothing over.
I was just afraid they'd be too small. I didn't want you to feel uncomfortable.
I laughed, loud enough for everyone to hear.
You wear a large, and you bought me triple XL. Were you afraid I'd be uncomfortable, or were you trying to make sure I looked like a joke?
Just then, the click of high heels sounded from the entryway. Serena walked in. Without even looking at me, she went straight to Ethan.
You mentioned that pen you wanted was discontinued. I had someone get it at a private auction.
Thank you. But you are engaged to Cole. This might not be appropriate.
Only then did Serena turn to me.
Since you're still here, I'll make this clear. Our parents arranged this engagement. That doesn't mean I agree to it. If you have any sense, you'll ask your family to call it off yourself. Don't make this ugly for everyone.
Put your mind at ease, Serena. I'm not interested in you. This engagement is over as far as I'm concerned. If you really want out, have your father talk to mine today. Don't stand here acting like you're above me. You're not.
A week later, the Mercer Foundation will be holding its winter charity gala in the Glass Hall. A lot of business partners will be there. It'll also be our chance to introduce you to everyone properly. Mother had a suit made for you. You'll look so sharp in it.
For the first time since coming to the Mercers, I felt a little warmth. On the night of the gala, I opened my walk-in closet and found the suit was gone. At the top of the stairs, I saw Ethan coming down in an ice blue suit. My suit. I went back upstairs, changed into my own white shirt and black pants, then headed down. Vivian had her arm looped through Ethan's. They looked perfectly at ease, drawing praise from everyone around them.
This is a gala. You're really wearing that?
Someone took my suit. Why don't you ask him how he got the one he's wearing?
Eleanor, please don't think I want to call off this match. But look at your son. At an event like this, honestly, at an event like this, he doesn't have half of Ethan's poise. I think we should call off the engagement.
Eleanor went rigid, nearly dropping the glass in her hand. Serena rose from her seat and walked over.
Cole Hayes, I'll say this one last time. I will not accept this engagement. Tell your parents as soon as possible. Don't waste everyone's time.
The whole glass hall fell silent. Every eye turned to me. I stood in the middle of the ballroom and looked around. No one was going to say a word for me. I called Hank and put him on speaker.
Cole, what's got you calling your old man? Someone giving you trouble?
Only my voice carried.
Dad, it's nothing major. Just some people here saying I'm not fit to be a Mercer. They don't think much of me. And someone says she won't marry me. But that works for me. I don't like her either. Tell Uncle Gideard that if he still wants to talk about the Northern Corridor freight deal and those energy lesses, I'll come back and talk business with him.
He's been waiting on you. The permits for the Northern Corridor are expected to be reapproved next week, and the energy lease contracts are on my desk.
Ethan couldn't stop himself from blurting out.
Gideon Bennett? The freight tycoon?
A sharp breath ran through the glass hall. Everyone there knew the Mercer Group's most important project right now was the harbor expansion, and what it lacked was access to the Northern Corridor and reliable energy support. Did Hank Hayes control that route? Richard snapped his head up. Mrs. Blackwell's smile froze.
If you don't want to stay there, come home.
Not yet. I've got something to finish.
After ending the call, I slipped my phone into my pocket and looked at Serena.
You were right. I don't understand all the rules and games you people have in Harbor City. But get one thing straight about this engagement. The Blacknells aren't rejecting me. I'm rejecting you.
Ethan's face changed completely. He had clearly heard the names Hank Hayes and Gideon Bennett before. Vivian gripped the back of a chair, her knuckles white. Serena stood frozen, her lips parting, but no words came out. Mrs. Blackwell tried to save face.
Young man,
Whoever your adoptive father knows has nothing to do with this engagement. You think dropping a few names will...
Hank called again.
Oh, right. Gideon said his daughter Ava's coming over to take you to dinner. You two used to play together all the time, remember? She just got back after college. You'll have plenty to talk about.
I hung up, pulled out a chair, took an orange from the table, and peeled it slowly. The gala ended in awkward silence. Guests left in small groups. Serena rushed out. Ethan followed Vivian upstairs. I stood in the manor courtyard, looking up at the Harbor City night sky. My phone buzzed. Hank still couldn't stand the thought of me being there alone. He'd sent a voice message to check on me. I replied,
Dad, I'll finish what I need to do here, then I'll come home. I don't care about their love, but if they humiliate me, they're going to pay for it.
3 days after the charity gala, the mood at the Mercer house had visibly changed. At breakfast, someone actually asked what I wanted to eat. Eleanor knocked on my door 2 days in a row to check on me. Every word she said carried the same message. She wanted to make it up to me. At dinner that night, Ethan acted like nothing had happened. He kept asking me questions.
Cole, do you like this? If you do, I'll have the kitchen make more. Ethan, cut the act. We aren't close.
I looked up, our eyes meeting across the table.
I haven't even told Eleanor you wore my suit. You really want to keep giving me ammunition?
The clink of cutlery stopped all at once. Ethan's voice began to shake immediately.
Cole, the staff mixed them up that day. I really didn't know it was yours.
It was one suit. How much longer are you going to drag this out?
I didn't answer. Once I was done eating, I got up and left. That afternoon, I received a friend request from an unknown number. Ava Bennett. Once I accepted, she sent me a message.
I'm Ava, the girl you used to steal corn with and grill behind the silos in Grayfield. My dad told me to take you to dinner. Your location, please?
I replied, your call. 5 minutes later, Ava sent me the address of an exclusive, reservation-only restaurant in Harbor City. When I arrived, 2 bodyguards stood outside the private dining room. Ava was already inside. She looked casual in a white shirt, jeans, and old leather boots. But the watch on her wrist and the coat draped over her chair were anything but ordinary. The first thing she said when she saw me was,
Long time no see. I remember you could put away 3 bowls of ranch beans in one sitting.
I still can. Want a demonstration?
We went our separate ways after dinner. But someone had taken pictures of us. By the next day, they'd made their way to Vivian.
That's Ava Bennett, isn't it? What's your relationship with her?
I glanced at the photo.
Dinner.
Vivian frowned at once.
How can you go to dinner alone with another woman when you're still engaged?
The engagement is over. Your best friend Serena said so herself in front of half the city at the Glass Hall. Did you forget?
Even so, you can't humiliate Serena. The engagement could still be...
Vivian, I just looked into it. The Bennetts have far more assets and control far more land than the Black Lace.
The second the words left his mouth, he seemed to realize he shouldn't have said them.
You want to dig into my background? Go ahead. I wasn't planning to hide it. Hank isn't the ordinary farmer you take him for. You lost me when I was a baby and never once blamed yourselves. But now you're angry because I didn't grow into the person you expected.
I turned and headed upstairs. At the staircase, I paused.
I didn't come back to compete for your affection or take what belongs to you. But if you keep treating me like dirt under your boots, I'll show you what dirt can do.
You broke off an engagement with Hank Hayes' son. That family is not one you can afford to cross. Do you understand me?
For the first time, Serena stood before her father's desk with her head down, not daring to argue. Mr. Blackwell threw a dossier onto the desk. It listed the holdings of Hayes Land and Freight, land, grain silos, cold chain logistics, Northern Corridor freight, energy leases. The numbers ran onto a second page. The next day, Serena called me. I looked at her name on my screen and let it ring for a few extra seconds before answering.
Say what you called for.
When she spoke, she sounded like she was forcing herself past her pride.
Cole, the way I treated you that day was out of line.
Yeah. And?
I want to take you to dinner. We can talk face to face.
Serena, did you decide to invite me to dinner or did your father send you?
The line went silent.
I thought so. Forget dinner. You pointed in my face and told me I wasn't good enough. I'll never forget that. If you're really sorry, have your father come apologize to me in person.
Ava texted me.
Uncle Hank wants you home this weekend. He says the stew's already on.
After Ethan found out Serena had called me, he stayed in his room and scrolled through her social media 20 times.
I've made a terrible mistake.
Her latest post was a photo of her study. He locked his phone, his nails digging into his palms. The next day, Ethan asked Serena to meet him at a coffee shop. He wore a dark coat, his hair neatly combed. He stirred his coffee calmly.
Serena, I'm not trying to speak badly about Cole, but have you really looked into all the businesses his adoptive father owns? Someone doesn't build a business that big on luck alone. I doubt his hands are clean.
What are you saying, Ethan?
I'm just reminding you not to forget the risks because of one dossier your father showed you.
Ethan, what exactly do you have against Cole? Ever since you met him, you've put him down every chance you got.
His face cooled.
I haven't.
You have. I did look down on him at first, but we're not idiots. I know what you've been doing.
Ethan's fingers tightened around his cup. His eyes darkened.
So now you believe him instead of me?
I only believe facts. Don't contact me again. I need to handle things with Cole carefully, not sit here listening to you make up dirt about him.
After Serena left, Ethan sat alone in the coffee shop for 40 minutes. He called Vivian 3 times. She didn't answer once. Finally, he called Eleanor.
Ethan, I know about you taking Cole's suit. Come home. We need to talk.
When Ethan returned to Mercer Manor, Eleanor was already seated in the living room. The ice blue suit lay beside her.
I had that suit made for Cole. Why were you wearing it that night?
Ethan didn't explain right away. He took off his coat and draped it over his arm.
I wore it.
Eleanor looked at him.
Why?
He was silent for a moment.
I thought you had it made for me.
Don't lie to me. Cole's name was inside the collar and it was his size. How could you possibly mistake it?
We were running late. By the time I realized I had the wrong suit on, it was too late.
Vivian had just come home from work. She stood in the doorway without going in. Eleanor glanced at her.
You too. Come in. There's no way you knew nothing about what your brother did.
Vivian's face changed.
Mom, Ethan didn't do it on purpose.
Don't you dare tell me he didn't mean to one more time.
I came down the stairs, took one look at the scene in the living room, and headed straight for the dining room. As I passed, Eleanor called out.
Cole, come sit with us.
I stopped and leaned against the doorframe.
You handle your business. I can handle mine.
Her eyes filled with things she didn't know how to say. Then Ethan spoke, his voice low.
Ever since Cole came back, I've been scared.
The room went quiet. He stood there with his shoulders pulled tight, like he'd been wound too tight for too long, and had finally hit his limit. He looked at Eleanor, then toward Richard's study.
I lived in this house for 18 years before I found out I wasn't a Mercer by blood. But I thought if I was good enough, if I did everything right, if I was Mercer enough, then I wouldn't be thrown away.
Vivian's expression changed.
But the second he came back, everything changed. You should see the way you all look at him, the way people outside this family look at him. Even Serena has started to see him differently. I never wanted to hurt him. I was scared of losing everything.
It was a pretty speech. If Eleanor softened now, Ethan would be the one who needed comforting.
You said you were scared of being thrown away, scared of losing everything. When you handed me those old shoes, were you scared? When you put me in a room facing the kitchen exhaust vents, were you scared? When you bought me clothes 2 sizes too big and let me show up in front of your relatives looking like I was wearing a sack, were you scared? When you wore my suit and let everyone humiliate me, were you scared? You only remembered to be scared after people finally saw you for who you are. Pretty calculating, aren't you?
Ethan's Adam's apple bobbed, but he said nothing. Eleanor slowly lowered the hand she'd started to reach for him.
Ethan, I need to rethink everything.
I closed my bedroom door.
Son, I made stew today. They're just waiting for you to come home.
The Mercer house stayed quiet for 3 days. Ethan said he wasn't feeling well and didn't come downstairs for meals. Eleanor had the staff send porridge up to him, but she never went herself. Vivian stopped picking fights with me. I heard Richard had called her into his study for an hour. When she came out, she looked awful. I ate my meals, read my books, and video called Hank like usual. On the 4th day, Richard knocked on my door for the first time. I opened it. My biological father, the man who had barely said a word to me in more than 10 days, stood in the hallway.
Cole, I'd like to talk.
I stepped aside and let him in. Richard took one look around the room and went silent for a long moment.
Who assigned you this room?
How would I know? This is how it was from the day I walked through the door.
Richard closed his eyes. He'd spent more than 20 years building his business and overseeing thousands of employees. And only now was he realizing how much his own son had been put through while he'd known nothing. His mouth opened. Maybe he meant to apologize, but in the end, he only said,
Come to the mall with me this afternoon. Clothes, toiletries, whatever you need, we'll get it. You're changing rooms too. I'll have the south-facing room cleared out.
Fine, but I have one condition. Don't let Ethan help pick anything out for me.
Fine.
When Ethan heard Cole was moving rooms, he was in his room playing video games. With a sharp bang, he threw the controller onto the desk. Then he stood and looked at himself in the mirror. 18 years. He had lived at the Mercer house for 18 years. The brightest room in the house had always been his. That night, Vivian knocked on my door.
Cole, Dad told me to apologize to you.
Keep your forced apology. If you don't mean it, I don't want it.
Vivian swallowed her anger, her fists tightening and loosening at her sides.
I'm not here to fight. But you have to understand, Ethan's been part of this family for 8 years. We can't just...
Can't just what? Treat me the same way you treat him? I never expected you to. Just be honest with yourself about that.
The next day, I moved into my new room. It faced south, with big windows overlooking the garden.
Cole, if there's anything else you need, tell me. I'll get it for you.
This is enough. Thanks.
Eleanor had hung 6 new outfits in the closet. Every one was my size. After Eleanor left, I sat on the window seat and sent Hank a photo. A white flowering tree stood outside.
Well, look at that tree. It gives the one in our yard a run for its money.
Not even close. The one at home, you planted it yourself.
Then I stared out the window for a while. It was time to leave. The day my college counselor and I finalized my application list, I didn't choose to stay in Harbor City.
With your grades and everything the Mercer family can offer, you'd have no trouble staying at one of Harbor City's top colleges. Why head north? I want to go back to Grayfield.
When the news reached the Mercers, Eleanor panicked. Richard was quiet for a long time.
Let him go.
Ethan lowered his head to cut a piece of bread. The corner of his mouth lifted almost imperceptibly. Eleanor followed me to my room.
Cole, I know we've hurt you these past few months.
She took my hand.
But if you leave, I'm afraid that one day...
I sat across from her and didn't interrupt. When she finally finished, I said,
I've only lived here for 3 months. Whether this has ever truly been my home, you know, and I know.
Tears slipped down Eleanor's face. I didn't pull my hand away, but I didn't comfort her either. Before I left, Serena came to see me once. For once, she wasn't dressed up.
Cole, I owe you an apology. For the things I said before.
You said them easily enough at the time. Serena, you don't owe me an apology. You just found out I'm not the person you thought I was, and now you want to make up for it. But I don't need that. You never saw me for me. All you ever saw was who stood behind me.
Serena didn't move. I walked past her and got into my car.
Live your life, I'll live mine. Don't feel like you owe me anything, and don't think there was something to regret. We're on different paths. There's nothing to regret.